Good afternoon. What I want to talk about today is a situation that occurred with a sheriff in Palm Beach County, Florida. His name is Rick Bradshaw, and he's the sheriff of Palm Beach County, Florida. Now, it was back several weeks ago, or a month ago, that the news broadcast indicated that the sheriff was in the process of initiating a program which paid for by tax dollars, which would be used to finance a campaign in which he would encourage citizens of his community to call the county sheriff if someone like me would have happened to say something to the effect of, "I hate this government," or "I hate government in general," or the government of Barack Obama. You see what I mean? If I often say, "I hate this government of Barack Obama and the leftist liberals." Now, based upon this program that this sheriff was trying to initiate, let's say that there was a block party in this particular community of Palm County Beach, and you've got, let's say, a barbecue going, and a bunch of guys and wives are out there, and naturally they're going to talk about politics, might even talk about religion or whatever. And one guy might voice his objection to Obama's obvious attempts at depriving the American citizen of their constitutional rights to own and bear firearms. It's referred to in the Bill of Rights as the Second Amendment. Now, based upon what this sheriff was trying to initiate, is a program in which if you ever hear your neighbor saying something to the effect of, "I hate this government," or "I hate government," or maybe you know that this particular neighbor has guns, call the sheriff, and they would show up at this particular individual's home with 2 or 3 sheriff's deputies and a mental health caseworker. And the sheriff justified this by, claiming that this would somehow or another deter violent crime from occurring in the community, ignoring the 14th Amendment by having 3 deputy sheriffs at your door and a mental health caseworker. Forget the fact that the 14th Amendment says that this would be an imposition upon law-abiding citizens. You've not done anything. You have exercised your First Amendment privilege, which is freedom of speech. I could sit here and say, "I hate Barack Obama" all day. I'm not advocating any violence toward him. I certainly don't want any harm to come to him, but it's his policies. The frightening thing about what this sheriff, and you'll see a picture of this little twerp in this video. I'll try to embed his image in the video. But what this particular sheriff, and I can tell you he's probably, I'm sure that he's an Obama-supporting Democrat. I can't fathom a Republican ever coming up with something that blatantly violates the First Amendment as this person is proposing. So here, you got a neighbor that doesn't really like you. Maybe he doesn't really like you to begin with, so he calls the sheriff and says, "Oh, I heard, so-and-so say that, they hate Barack Obama, they hate the government." You see, what the guy is proposing is to turn the entire population against one another. Does that not sound like Nazi Germany with the Hitler Youth, where The youth were taught to even turn against their own parents. If they ever heard their parents utter a negative word about the great leader, it sounds like something you might hear out of North Korea. Those friends of mine in foreign countries who are my listeners will remember what it was like in Stalinist Russia, Soviet Union, under the communist rule, where they could knock on your door in the middle of the night, drag you out of your house, take you off to a mental ward somewhere, and have you declared mentally insane, mentally incompetent, and that would be the end of that. The threat is when they've got a mental caseworker standing right there. Are we supposed to trust? Is the American people supposed to trust a mental health caseworker to determine that you need to go in for a 3-day evaluation or a 24-hour evaluation? Whatever. Once they get you in there, then perhaps they inject you with some kind of medication where you are a walking zombie. While all that is going on, they've already confiscated your guns from your home, which you legally own, and good luck in ever getting those back. If you do get out of the mental ward, and certainly there is nothing wrong with you, well, guess what? You're going to go down to the police station and say, or to the sheriff's office and say, can I have my guns back now? Well, guess what? You have to go through hiring an attorney so that you can be seen, your case can be heard in front of a judge. So you see, they have twisted the entire procedure of presumed innocence to presumed guilty without a change to the Constitution. This is what this pinhead in Palm Beach County, Florida, was attempting to inflict upon his own constituents who had voted him into office. So I hope, now the good point is that Governor Rick Scott, the governor of Florida, struck it down. Basically, it says right here, sign the budget for next year, including deleting $1 million for quote-unquote violence prevention and mental health initiative sought by the Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. All across the spectrum in this country, under the presidency of the leftist Barack Obama, we have all of his little pinhead, petty tyrant dictators attempting to either take away our lawfully owned guns or restrict our freedom of speech. And are we supposed to trust somebody with a title of mental health caseworker? Well, could we trust the Internal Revenue Service to be fair and non-biased? No. The Obama administration sicked the Internal Revenue Service on the Tea Party and conservative organizations. Why on earth would anybody trust 3 sheriff's deputies on your doorstep who work for this Rick Bradshaw, who is obviously an Obama supporter? Why on earth would we trust their decision that you need to be taken in for a mental evaluation? And why this mental health caseworker, well, gee, how ingenious do I have to be to figure out she or he is probably also a liberal Obama supporter? The leftists and the Obama supporters view all conservatives as the enemy. I don't know how more clear it needs to be. You cannot deal with those people. You cannot rationalize with them. They do not acknowledge and respect the Constitution of the United States or the Bill of Rights. Their goal is to impose liberalism, leftism, whatever ism you want to call it, upon the entire population. So, my commendations to Rick Scott, governor of Florida, for having the courage to strike it down and defund it. It also gives us a little bit of guidance on how to defund a lot of the other things that have been passed through Congress, such as Obamacare. Why don't we just, there's an old saying, if you're going to kill the beast, deprive the beast of food. Defund Obamacare and the beast will die. Now that's a figurative speech, I'm not referring to the death of any one particular person. Let's clarify that. It's a figurative speech. Thank you for tuning in, and the leftists are really making a lot of news these days. My next video hopefully will be talking about the Internal Revenue debacle and how Obama has turned that agency into an arm of the leftists. The important thing to remember with elected officials, today I'm talking about this sheriff in Palm Beach County, Florida. But the threat is not just from this particular sheriff in Florida. The point being is when an elected official takes office and raises their hand and swears an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and then they have the trust of and confidence of the people that they will comply with that sworn oath, and then they turn right around and advocate laws that restrict or destroy the Constitution, then that person has demonstrated their incompetence, their inability to hold office, because they have violated the trust and confidence of the people. The people elect them and trust them, and most of us believe that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. We must have the First Amendment. We must have the Second Amendment. We must have the 14th Amendment. And all of them. So, I'm referring today to the sheriff, who in my judgment is much of a criminal, if not more of a criminal, than the people he is elected to put into his jails. When a sheriff advocates something like having county sheriffs come to my door or your door if you live in Florida. Now, I happen to live in a county where the county sheriff is a member of the, I believe that he is a member of the oath takers, the oath keepers. And so we, in this county, we wouldn't have fear of sheriffs come knocking on our door. If yesterday I happened to rag on the president or rag on the liberals who have taken over the government, or if I happen to slip up at a barbecue or something and say, boy, this is one screwed up government that we've got, I don't have the fear that I'm going to get a knock on the door in the middle of the night like used to happen in the Soviet Union. But in Florida, you've got to constantly, all across this country, be on your guard, because the first time that they propose something like this sheriff in Florida was proposing, then that is your warning sign. He does not protect, he is not serving you. He does not have your best interest as a law-abiding citizen within his heart. He is a political hack. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.